With feel-like temps in the mid-90s with scattered showers and thunderstorms through this afternoon. Later on tonight, lows bottom out in the mid to low 70s, and we're in store for scattered showers and storms for Friday with our highs in the low to mid-80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker is a writer, producer, and host here at 93 WIBC. He's filling in for Hammer. Brian, do you know what I love about the UK?
Oh, please do tell.
They members of the opposition party of the UK, members of Boris Johnson's own party, can actually badger their leaders into resigning for being dumbasses. I mean, literally, like the UK Prime Minister, one of the most powerful men in the world, Boris Johnson, announced he's resigning today, and it's basically because he's an idiot. I mean, honestly, it goes back to the illegal COVID parties at Downing Street back in the day when the rest of his country was locked down. He knowingly promoted this pervert, this groping weirdo pervert in his administration that he knew had a past that was full of sexual harassment allegations. And finally, people just fed up and just demanded he resign. Like, if that was the criteria for Joe Biden, like,
listen, I think we could take some tips from these people, man. I don't know if they offer any kind of a correspondence course, or maybe they could do some weekend seminars, because I got a lot of folks I'd like to get out of D.C., and Joe Biden, chief amongst them, although he'd have to take Kamala with him. She'd have to go with him. I don't want just one. I want them both.
And the other thing, I want to play a clip Hammer and I played yesterday before we knew that he was for sure going to resign. And Boris Johnson sitting there in the chamber with some of his cabinet still serving underneath him. And here, this guy's name's Keir Starmer. He's the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, the opposition party. And he was just brutalizing Boris Johnson, questioning his performance and ridiculing the ministers that were still serving under him. Here we go. This is to his face.
The dying act of his political career is to parrot that nonsense. Yep. And as for those who are left, only in office because no one else is prepared to debase themselves any longer, the charge of the lightweight brigade. Have some self-respect. Mr. Speaker, for a week, he's had them defending his decision to promote a sexual predator. Every day, the lines he's forced them to take have been untrue. First, that he was unaware of any allegation. Untrue. Then he was unaware of any specific allegation. Untrue. Then he was unaware of any serious specific allegation. And now he wants them to go out and say that he simply forgot that his whip was a sexual predator. Anyone with anything about them would be long gone from his front bench. In the middle
Okay, you can stop it. You can stop it. That was like to Boris Johnson's face yesterday. That happened. That's the way they do things. That's the way they get down in the UK.
That's what I was going to say, man, is that's kind of, to me, that almost seems tame compared to some of the stuff that I've seen break out, certainly in the British Parliament. I mean, UK, man, they just say it right up straightforward, you know. There's no going behind your back. There's no, starting rumors. They just get right in front of you and let you know you're a big, fat piece of crap.
Man, I always said the people in the UK don't put up with hypocrites. And that whole thing, I mean, the COVID parties alone on Downing Street while the rest of the country was locked down are enough to put, I mean, people here in the United States, I mean, Gavin Newsom to Lori Lightfoot to the mayor of San Francisco, all violated their own COVID restrictions, and nobody said a word except us.
No, in fact, we even caught a few of our own people in the state of Indiana that were violating some of their own rules.
They actually badgered Boris Johnson to step down as prime minister. Now, I don't know who they're going to get to fill his role. I don't think he's leaving until October, but, there was a cavalcade of resignations within his own government and was eroding his authority and basically paralyzed the British government. I just think that's hilarious. And meanwhile, you have old Joe Biden sending more than 5 million barrels of oil from the emergency reserves. They're supposed to be for us in case of emergency. Sent it over to China. Sent it over to Europe and Asia last month, even as U.S. gasoline and diesel prices hit record highs. That enough, in my opinion, is an impeachable offense.
Well, it is, except I don't know exactly how the process works, Nige, because I don't know a whole lot about the oil markets, but conceivably, my understanding is that oil then goes to the refiners and to the oil companies, and then they would be making the decisions about what gets shipped out. And I was thinking about this. I thought, well, what is the overall impact on gas prices here in the U.S.? Because we know one of the big factors right now is that there's a lack of capacity at the refineries, right? Yeah. But in theory, if these companies, which are private companies, if they need to still fill the same amount of demand, I guess, if you got so many barrels of oil and it's coming out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and you say, okay, well, this is earmarked, it has to be this specific oil, then they're going to send other oil that they've managed to acquire through drilling that is going to go to the markets as well. So other than increasing supply, I guess if it's all coming pretty much from, you could argue that it's basically all coming from the same place, because whatever they're not shipping overseas, they're going to have to make up for in another area. But I don't know exactly how the oil markets work. It would be interesting to find out. And I certainly would say that we're getting dangerously close to that point where the whole point of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is that if we hit a crisis, we would have 30 days to basically run the country. And I don't know that we even have that much oil left in the reserves at this point.
The flow from the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, is draining at a pace which last month fell to its lowest since '86. Of course, there's no comments from the oil companies and Biden. Why are we even tapping into that when we do have the capacity? If you got rid of the executive order that Joe Biden signed January of last year, 13,990, you get rid of that thing, you open up the pipelines, you drill, baby, drill. There's no reason to even tap in to the strategic oil reserves. I mean, we've had gas and oil experts on talking about this. The reason why prices are so high, and I know they've gone down like 20 cents. Great. I can, I can afford to go to I can afford to go to Little Caesars rather than to, buy the slice of pizza under the heat lamp at the gas station. But the whole reason the gas prices are what they are in the first place is because of Joe Biden's oppressive restrictions on the oil and gas industry.
Yeah, and there's I think a greater discussion here as well, Nige, because this is not, as much as the Biden administration has made horrific decisions that have hurt us domestically. You look back and you see decades upon decades of mismanagement at the government level where they never planned ahead for situations like what we're experiencing right now with, the war with Russia attacking Ukraine, and that's constricted supplies. And then, of course, the Biden administration has done their part. But, you think about how vulnerable our country is in so many different areas because we went for the short-term gains. We went for profit. We had NAFTA. We shipped all these jobs overseas. We have our manufacturing on foreign soil. We've got China making all of our medicines. I mean, you just look at all the ways that they put us in a vulnerable position to where our adversaries don't really have to do much. They just have to wait for our leaders to make enough stupid decisions that we collapse from within.
I love the story you sent me about the Georgia gas station losing. Yeah. Joe Biden was criticizing the gas stations over 4th of July holiday, big, mean, evil gas stations. You need to lower your prices right now when most of them are mom and pop owned. Or a majority of this Georgia gas station lost nearly $12,000 selling discounted gas on the 4th of July. The A to Z Food Mart in Hinesville, they're in your home state, the Peach State, Georgia, right?
They wanted to give back to the community after I leave.
Yeah, of course, right. It had to be after you left. But they wanted to give back to their community in Hinesville. They dropped the price to less than $2 a gallon. That's less than half the average price. People lined up around the block and waited for hours to fill up, which really tells me that the high gas prices are extremely detrimental and affecting middle and lower class people, especially.
Yeah, but this also gives you a peek. And by the way, how mad would you be if you were at the back of the line, you wait for several hours, and then you miss the window where they're selling it at a discount? But, this also shows you, as the Biden administration has kind of hinted around about a return to price controls, it shows you what the reality of that would look like, because you've got folks lined up around the block. Same thing would happen here in the U.S., just like we had the oil crisis and the gas lines in the 1970s.
Okay, coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to talk to Alex Berenson. He's back on Twitter. He's a journalist, wrote for the New York Times, author of Pandemia. Was sort of there from the very beginning, asking the controversial questions about COVID in terms of the lockdowns and the effectiveness of the vaccines. He sued Twitter and he won. So he's going to call the show here in just a few minutes. We'll get the lowdown on that right now. Look at traffic with Matt Baer.
All right, Nigel, just got a word for Caan County. The Mount Comfort Road ramps to westbound 70 are opening tomorrow afternoon. They will not be available for morning rush. But Caan County 911 helping us out with that on Twitter. We appreciate that. Looking at the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go from Harding over to Emerson. Traffic sponsored by DoMyOwnPestControl.com. You need a lawn care pro and a pest control pro. You can have both in one guy, you. DoMyOwn.com will help you get there with pro products, pro knowledge, and pro support. DoMyOwn.com for the pro and you. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
But coming up next, very famous celebrity has passed away. We'll fill you in on what happened. 89 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
The housing market has started to cool, but inventory is still low and homes are selling fast. We need to get you pre-approved today. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. NMLS number 1326-241.
Tony Katz for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, Central Indiana's premier arms dealer. And yeah, they're doing construction there on Green Street. And yeah, that construction has been a pain in the you-know-what, but it's going to be worth it because they have the selection of new and used firearms that you want to see. And PA Jewelers, the jewelry store inside Premier Arms, means that there is something there for everyone. It is worth the drive and a little bit of traffic to get to Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030 or online at premierarms.com.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence, because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit EFEWealthPlanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines, built for those who built themselves.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
When you call to have your home or business's heating and air serviced, what do you expect from them? A salesman in a colorful truck? Or do you expect a highly trained expert with your best intentions in mind? The answer is obvious. Call the company that treats you like family. My name's Molly and I look forward to answering your call.
Family Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air. Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Recycle your e-waste. Visit tech-recyclers.com. WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer. Bummer. Actor James Caan, who's it's played Sonny, The Godfather. He's in Misery. Tons of movies. Died last night, his family says. 82 years old, Brian. Quote, "It is with great sadness that we inform you of the passing of Jimi on the evening of July 6th. The family appreciates the outpouring of love and heartfelt condolences and asks that you continue to respect the privacy during this difficult time." I mean, it's The Godfather that's his signature role, right? You think?
Yeah, and a little piece of trivia, Nigel. Actually, that role was originally given to Burt Reynolds, and it was given to Burt Reynolds, and Marlon Brando refused to do the film if Burt was in it, and so he lost it. And the reason that, Marlon Brando hated Burt Reynolds, and it all goes back to when Burt was just starting out and he didn't have the mustache. He looked exactly like Marlon Brando, and he did some Twilight Zone episode where he played this overly indulgent actor, and they didn't call him Marlon, but it was pretty clear he was doing that impression, and Brando never got over it. But this story makes me so sad, man, because I didn't know the man, but I got to interact with James Caan quite a bit because I went to acting class with his son, Scott Caan.
You're kidding.
No, man. And he would come in all the time and he would watch scenes. He would talk to aspiring actors. He was so nice and so generous with his time. And you know how it is. I mean, it's not like the guy ever invited me over for dinner. We were hanging out, but he's such an iconic person in the world of cinema. And then to have had the chance to kind of meet one of these legends and get to interact with him was so cool. So I was sorry to see that news come across the wire, man.
I'm not sure we have a cause of death. I haven't seen that anywhere. But the Godfather, Misery, which I think he didn't win an Academy Award. I think Kathy Bates did for that, didn't she? For the movie Misery.
Yeah, that hobbling scene where she takes the sledgehammer
on his ankles. Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah, and apparently that's very tame compared to what it was in the book. I think she chops his legs off in the book and then cauterizes the wounds with a flame, like a blowtorch.
Oh, wow. It was Elf. He was really good in Elf. That's a Christmas movie that will be played over and over and over again for the rest of our lives. Now, an underrated... I mean, I could go on and on with James Caan movies. And Scott Caan is hilarious. His son is real funny in Ocean's 11 and 12 and 13 or whatever.
Yeah, and it did that reboot of Hawaii Five-0.
Yes. Yeah. But James Caan played Tommy Corman in Honeymoon in Vegas with Nicolas Cage and Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, Nicolas Cage lost $60,000 to him, and he's like this mafioso type guy. He's like, yeah, I'll let the debt go if I can spend the weekend with your newlywed wife or your fiance who's been marrying her in Vegas. So it's kind of like an indecent proposal type thing, but it's kind of fun. It was funnier than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you seen Honeymoon in Vegas?
I've only, if I saw it, I saw it many years ago. It's, the films where Nicolas Cage played Elvis all kind of blend together after a while.
Because that ended with that one of the things that ended with that with the ending of that movie was where he jumped out of a plane with a bunch of other Elvises and parachuted into a stadium.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention this real quick, sort of an update on a story we had yesterday. We were talking about hypocrites in politics, and nobody in UK liked Boris Johnson, especially after that crap that he pulled with locking down the country but having holiday parties there on Downing Street. Governor Gavin Newsom is catching some heat after he banned state-funded travel to Montana and then, of course, traveled to the state this week for vacation.
Yes.
Now, critics, they're saying, look, what are you doing? What state-funded travel and then you go there and on your vacation? The optics are just horrible. The response from Newsom's rep says the ban was only on, quote, state-funded travel. Obviously, Newsom paid for the vacation with his own money. Connecting the two is an attempt at gotcha journalism that is neither gotcha nor journalism. Now, here's just one more thing here. They asked the rep if Gavin Newsom brought along state-funded security personnel. He declined to comment.
Well, the greater point, too, is he was kind of taking a moral stand, was he not, for his principles when he decided that he was going to speak for the entire state and there wouldn't be any state-funded travel there, and he kind of marked Montana off the list. So why would you want to go and spend any of your dollars there, whether it's state's dollars or your own personal dollars, sir?
Yeah, well, I think he has in-laws there or something like that. And it's just, again, it's bad optics, from the dinner at the French Laundry with all the other medical execs while restaurants were being closed down, to the mask thing at the football game. I mean, it's just terrible optics. And because he's a good-looking guy, I guess, gets away with it.
I don't know. How much do you figure that guy spends per month on dippity-doo? What do you think?
He's got great hair.
Yeah, you got that crunch too. I dated this girl who grew up with him, and let me tell you, there's a guy right there that did not get to where he is today because he was qualified and smart.
Well, did you see he's running ads in Florida?
Yeah.
Begging people in Florida to move to California because they're more free in California than they are in Florida, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I think from the beginning of the pandemic, Florida may have been the freest state there was besides, Iowa or North Dakota.
We actually have that ad if you want me to play it, Nigel.
I don't want to hear that ad.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have time to hear
it's
that
not
ad.
his ad. It's the parody ad of his ads.
All right, go ahead, play it.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom is under attack in your state. Dictator Ron DeSantis incredibly lets you walk around without masks. That tyrant allows your kids to go to school during the pandemic, year 2 or 4, or who the hell knows. I urge you living in Florida to join the fight. Or join us in California, where we'll take the money you earn and give it to people who don't work. Visit San Francisco, where you can walk through human feces. If you're lucky, you might step on a syringe. Check out Los Angeles, where gas is so expensive, your kids only need to skip a meal or 2 or 10 to afford it. California, where freedom means lockdowns for you, while I go to the places you can't afford. Don't let them take your freedom. Come to California, where we'll take it, along with your money.
There you go. Gavin Newsom's controversial ad running in Florida right now. Coming up next, it's Alex Berenson, banned from Twitter, but he's back. He sued and won. We'll get the story. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Imagine if you could get a 14% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $14,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $28,000 bonus. Think it sounds too good to be true? It's not. Get all of the details from Bill Demery, my retirement guy right here in Indy, by calling 317-972-9172. Learn how you could get a 14% bonus on your money. Get a great return that beats the heck out of the bank. And sleep well knowing that your money is backed by an A-plus rated insurance company. Oh, by the way, did I mention a 14% bonus? It's true. Get all the details by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I had lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
For only $49.99, lose all the weight you want, 100% guaranteed. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick Seminars. That's right, seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. That's Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers and Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
WIBC Mobile News on the level, on the go.
What kept police busy last night? 89 degrees, mostly cloudy on the circle, storms showing on the radar to the west. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. There were shootings in Indianapolis Wednesday night, one on the northeast side, the other on the west side. One person was killed, 2 others badly hurt.
The status of our agency is that we remain laser focused on tackling violent crime in our city.
IMPD Captain Mike Leeper says despite the tough evening, he feels police are making progress on cutting down crime in Indy. A slight break from the heat today, but you might want to keep an eye on the radars. Severe weather is possible, says Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
It'll be pretty sporadic and pretty isolated. So we're not expecting widespread areas of severe weather, but anytime we get some thunderstorms or this kind of heat, we can get a severe storm, an isolated storm here or there that reaches those severe levels.
Heavy rain and damaging winds are what you should watch out for. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is stepping down, but President Joe Biden says not to worry. America's ties to the UK won't change. Fox's Jared Halpern.
President Biden says the United Kingdom and the United States are the closest of friends and allies, including maintaining a strong and united approach to supporting the people of Ukraine. In a statement following the resignation of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the president says the special relationship between the two countries remains strong and enduring, and he looks forward to continuing a close cooperation with the government of the United Kingdom. Johnson has stepped down as leader of the Conservative Party, but intends to remain as prime minister until the party picks a successor. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Best known for his role as Sonny Corleone in The Godfather.
No more, not this time, Consigliere. No more meetings, no more discussions, no more Salazzo tricks. You give him one message, I want Salazzo. If not, that's all I want.
Actor James Caan has died at the age of 82. His family said on social media that he died Wednesday night. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:32.
Hello, Indianapolis. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data today and save up to $250 a year. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Indianapolis to start seeing the savings today.
With traffic, here's Matt Baer.
Harry, looking at a crash northbound 6570 right before the north split push. It's on the Washington Street ramp. Ramp is open right out of the bed. It's going to be jammed up. And we heard from Caan County, those ramps, Mount Comfort Road, both northbound, southbound, and westbound 70 are scheduled to reopen tomorrow afternoon. They will not be available for morning rush, but you will have them back for Monday morning rush. They've been closed since early May for that I-70 expansion project where they're adding a travel lane. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, drexelin.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Expect to see a hot day, highs near 90 with feel-like temps in the mid-90s with scattered showers and thunderstorms through this afternoon. Later on tonight, lows bottom out in the mid to low 70s, and we're in store for scattered showers and storms for Friday with our highs in the low to mid-80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track aide Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Jason Hammer. We'll go to the drivehubler.com hotline and bring on Alex Berenson. He's a journalist and author of Pandemia. His Substack is Unreported Truths. He was on the front lines of COVID from the beginning, analyzing the data and asking questions about the response and the effectiveness of the lockdowns and vaccines. Twitter banned him last year for questioning the efficacy of the vaccine, so he sued Twitter. And now he's back, baby. He's back. Alex, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm trying not to let Twitter take over my life. I did spend a lot of time tweeting for a year or more, but I am glad to be back on because it is a really big audience, and journalism. There's a lot of journalism on Twitter, whether it's sports journalism or political journalism, and I didn't think it was right for them to kick me off, and I'm glad to be back on.
What did you? Okay, so take me back, and then we'll go through the lawsuit here a little bit because this is a huge deal, and it's going under the radar. You actually sued Twitter, and I don't know if you can call it a win, but you're back on Twitter. What was the original, the essence of the original tweet that got you kicked off?
So the original, Twitter has this policy where you supposedly have to accumulate strikes. So there were a number of tweets that gave me strikes, but the one that actually got me kicked off is currently it was the first tweet I put when I came back on, actually.
You pinned it to the top of your profile, which I loved.
Exactly. But, it says it doesn't stop infection or transmission. Don't think of it as a vaccine. Think of it as a therapeutic, in other words, sort of a drug that you would take. Think of it as a therapeutic that must be dosed in advance of illness. And there's a little bit more to it. But, I would say that certainly it doesn't stop infection or transmission is absolutely the conventional wisdom now, 10 months after I tweeted that.
I think it was conventional wisdom 2 weeks after you tweeted that, I feel like.
It certainly by the fall,
yes.
It seemed pretty. Because I wasn't making it up. I was looking at data from Israel and the United Kingdom, which were a little bit in advance of the United States in their first vaccine rollout, and saying, look what's happening there. Those countries are having terrible, waves of Delta, and that's going to happen here. One of the lines that I always used was, human biology is the same everywhere, and what happens in Israel is going to happen in the United States in a month or two, and that proved to be completely right. So I tweeted that. That was my fifth strike. Twitter banned me, and then I did sue them in December.
And so what was the linchpin with your lawsuit? Because Twitter's been sued a bunch. Trump sued Twitter, and they dismissed it. And I'm just wondering, kind of, what was it your communication with someone inside Twitter that sort of helped advance your lawsuit along? I mean, so what? I guess what was the difference?
Certainly that was a big part of it. So as the pandemic had started, actually, and I didn't contact Twitter. I became sort of known as, questioning the value of lockdowns and then questioning the value of masks. There were a lot of people who didn't like that stuff. But Twitter, frankly, was always pretty, they're pretty okay with it. And an executive at Twitter, Jack Dorsey, who was the CEO of Twitter at the time, followed me, but he wasn't the one who emailed me. But this pretty high-level executive there emailed me and said, hey, we know what you're doing. We like debate here. And, I sort of talked to them a couple times about what I was going to say and why I thought what I was saying was important. And we had this kind of fruitful communication. And so that was part of it. Okay. But so that obviously applied only to me. Yeah. And so I brought this lawsuit under a number of grounds, some of which were sort of broadly constitutional. And those claims did not survive Twitter's motion to dismiss. These companies do have a lot of protection under Section 230, which is a federal law that gives them protection for banning or moderation decisions. But I also brought a claim saying, look, Twitter has a contract with me. We all, when you sign up and you click, you're signing your contract, basically. And they, although that contract says, hey, we can do whatever we like and ban you whenever we like, when they set up this 5-strike policy, they're modifying their contract. They're saying we're going to actually right. We're not going to just ban you for no reason. And they didn't abide by that. My tweets were not wrong, and they didn't actually do anything that broke Twitter's 5-strike policy, and therefore Twitter shouldn't have banned me. And that's, from my point of view, that's a really crucial part of the case, because the judge said that was part of the reason. It wasn't just the communications that I had with this guy. It was that I was saying that Twitter had set up this policy and modified its contract in doing so. And that, to me, is something that's a case that anybody can make going forward. So if you're Twitter and you just want to say, hey, we're Twitter, we can do what we like. Section 230 says we can ban anybody at any reason, good or bad. Then you have the right to do that. I mean, at least as the law has currently been interpreted. But if you're going to say, hey, we actually have a policy here that we're not just going to throw people off. We're only going to throw people off if they're bad actors. And here's how we're going to define that. Well, then you actually have to follow your own policy. And to me, and this is something that I think is going to get litigated going forward, in settling my case, even though I can't disclose the terms of the settlement, I can disclose, the 3-sentence public statement where they acknowledge that they're putting me back on. Obviously, I am back on. Yeah. They're acknowledging error. So, okay, in doing that, they are acknowledging that my theory in the case has some merit. Because why else are they putting me back on? They're not only are they putting me back on, in putting me back on, they're acknowledging they made a mistake. So I do think people are going to, there's going to be lawyers out there for people who are banned who say, look, yeah, no, these people didn't, my client didn't get emails from Twitter saying what you're doing is okay, but my client did rely on this policy. And look, Twitter has sort of said they too are relying on this policy.
Are you going to be able to learn, and maybe this is part of the settlement you can't talk about, I know there's a lot you can't say, but was there communication between Twitter and the government in terms of your Twitter account?
So you are correct. I cannot talk about that right now. Okay. Now, what I said publicly before I settled was I wouldn't settle unless I had the right to learn that stuff, and more than just to learn about it for myself, to publish about it. Now I have settled, so people will find out whether I was telling the truth when I said I wouldn't settle without those things.
Very interesting. Alex Berenson, journalist, author of Pandemia, here with a Twitter update. He is back on Twitter, and for Twitter being such a cesspool, it is a viable form, an important form of communication and getting like your stuff out there. I mean, tens of millions of people were seeing your tweets, right?
That's right. So the month I was banned, which was again August 2021, my tweets had about 200 million impressions.
Jeez.
And that's and it was free, right? I don't have to pay. Yeah. Twitter, obviously they're making money, they're selling ads, but I don't have to pay for that. And right now my first tweet back, this one about infection and transmission, that has 4 million views right now. Okay, so that's as many people as watch Tucker Carlson. Now I'm not saying that it has the impact of a half-hour Tucker Carlson, but what I am saying is it's a huge audience and it's really important. And partly these companies are getting the scrutiny that they're getting because they are so important. They're so big, and they're sort of these natural monopolies because like Truth Social or Getter. I mean, why would I or anybody spend a lot of time on that when Twitter's audience is 100 times as big?
Alex Berenson here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Just got a couple minutes left. What is the latest with COVID? I'm not sure I'm hearing a lot about it these days. There's COVID's still a thing, right? It's still going around.
Yeah. So COVID's still a thing. Here's the thing. For people on the left, they don't want to talk about COVID. They're the ones who always wanted to talk about COVID because everything they did was wrong. Everything they did didn't work. Everything they did proved useless. And so, it's kind of humiliating for them, and they'd rather this just go away. Now, there's aside from this hardcore people who really, will not let it go, but that's a very few people. The Democrats have realized this is not a good issue for them. Meanwhile, people on the right, I think, unfortunately, we're the ones who do need to talk about this so that it never happens again, so that there are no lockdowns again, so that vaccine mandates don't happen again because it's such an infringement on personal, liberty. But I think a lot of, it's natural. Look, we won. Let's move on. I do think we need to talk about it. And the other reason that we need to talk about it is, look, right now, Omicron is not, it's not very dangerous to most people. It's a cold for most for most healthy people. But there's a possibility at some point in the future that this is going to mutate in a bad way. And unfortunately, it looks like, certainly for people who are vaccinated, you don't have a lot of protection or lasting protection going forward. So there's a chance, I'm not saying it's a big chance, I don't know what the odds really are, that we wake up next fall and winter and we're dealing with a lot of people in hospitals again, and we're dealing with problems again. And that's, by the way, when it's going to be important to say no more masks locked, as we just have to navigate this. So to my mind, unfortunately for me, this is going to dominate my life for at least a little bit more. But yeah, I think for most people, it's over.
One more embarrassing thing I want to mention before the end of this interview. We'll get to it in a second. But in terms of something that I sent you a couple of months ago, Biden's vaccine rollout for babies. How's that going for the administration?
It's collapsed. I mean, nobody wants it. I think there's been one news article written for every child under 5 who's gotten a vaccine. And that to me is proof that people know the vaccines don't really work. If they did, they'd want their kids to get them. Instead, it's the opposite. So if you look at Ohio, and I haven't looked in the last couple of days, I'm going to have to update my numbers. But last week, and that was a full week after the vaccine rollout, 1% of the kids in Ohio were vaccinated. Fewer than 1% in Florida. And even in California, obviously a blue state, obviously a deeply Democratic state, 2% of kids under 5 were vaccinated. So people have rejected this for their children. And to me, that is the surest sign that everybody knows that, these vaccines, they're not vaccines. They're not. People get vaccinated against measles, against, smallpox, stuff that they know is basically permanent protection. People know that this doesn't really work.
I was so embarrassed. Oh my God! When you texted me a couple of months ago, I think you and I had made like a bet on the Colts Jets Thursday night game. Yeah. And so you sent me the Colts won, and you sent me an autographed copy of Pandemia. But I said, man, you've been so good at the show. Let me send you a bottle of our Hammer and Nigel Is This Anything single barrel bourbon. And you texted me. You got it. You said it tasted good. And then about a week later, you texted me again and said, hey, something funny with this. You signed it to the wrong person. Yep. I had signed it. I had sent you the wrong bottle, and I think I had autographed it to my brother Adam. Instead of to Alex, it said to Adam, and my throat sank into my stomach. I mean, I sent you the wrong damn bottle of whiskey with someone else's name on it.
Well, it was still delicious, and you can easily make up for that by sending me another one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that.
But no, really, it's good. It's good bourbon. I thank you for that, and I don't think the Jets are going to have a chance to embarrass themselves against the Colts this year. It's a whole new set of teams. Personally, I think the Colts actually are. I know the AFC stacked, but I think I think the Colts could be this year's Rams, a real team that all of a sudden has a quarterback.
They are looking good. All right, find Alex Berenson on Twitter. Read his Substack, subscribe to his Substack. Alex, it's been a while, man. Thanks for the update, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Nigel. Talk soon.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. We'll be right back.
I don't always black out when I'm drunk.
My kids can't tell that I'm high, so it's okay.
I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink in the morning.
I still have a job, so my drug use isn't a problem.
I can stop using whenever I want.
Don't ignore the signs of addiction. You don't have to wait until it's too late to get help. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to provide affordable and effective addiction treatment. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to get help today.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, letting you know when you need plumbing help, call who I call, my friends at Hope Plumbing. Not only are they experts in their field who respect the true value of customer service, they also love giving back to this community, which is evident in their new referral program. If you refer a friend, Hope Plumbing will give you and the referral a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. Great plumbing and supporting local restaurants. For more information, visit hopeplumbing.com.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with the CapTel caption telephone from Relay, Indiana, and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at relayindiana.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Lose your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar. Treat yourself to unique live music this weekend. The 56th Indianapolis Early Music Festival entertains and enriches you with timeless, beautiful music from early eras. Visit iemusic.org for info and tickets. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Matt Bear, what's up with traffic?
Nigel, looking at the east side, northbound 465 at 72, right lanes blocked because of a grass fire that looks to be out now. This is really slowing to ramp down from westbound 72 northbound. And then we have a crash, Troy Avenue at Harding Street on the south side. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
89 of the American Standard Cooling Weather Center on 93 WIBC.
Stop! You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
You missed any part of that interview with Alex Berenson. It was fascinating. It should be up on iTunes here shortly. Just go to WIBC.com or however you get the show. Did you hear the part Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer? The truly chilling part I want to know, and the part that he couldn't talk about, was whether or not the government was involved in communicating with Twitter about getting him banned off the social media platform. If that turns out to be something, that's a chilling prospect that would take place in America like that, Brian.
Deeply disturbing, and yet in no way surprising whatsoever under the current administration. It's frightening. I mean, when you look at how many different divisions within our government have been used to attack political adversaries, I mean, the list is
the Tea
long.
Party. The Tea Party got investigated by the IRS.
Yeah. FBI's been utilized as a political weapon.
Yeah. So if you missed any part of that interview, that should be is that up now, Mondo, or will be up shortly on the Big Ol' Podcast. Did you see this thing I tweeted out earlier? You're not a flyer, are you, Brian?
It's not that I have anything against flying. I just haven't really found I haven't had the need to fly.
You're more of a road trip guy. Even out west, you road trip it and you don't fly.
Yeah. I like driving. I mean, to me, like, the idea of a good time is, hey, let's get in the car and drive cross country nonstop. Like, that to me is a good time. I don't mind flying. I'm not afraid to fly. It's just, now it's kind of a toss-up, too, in terms of what's actually cheaper. But, if going from, like, Atlanta to come up to Indianapolis to visit family and stuff, it's maybe 8 hours, 10 hours if you bring the kid because you got lots of potty stops. I don't know. Just long distances don't bother me, man. So if I can drive it, that's the way I'm going.
Scroll down our Twitter feed, at Hammer and Nigel, a few posts. This huge hole got punched in the side of a plane 45 minutes into a flight from Dubai to Australia last Friday. The pilots couldn't see it. They thought everything was fine. They flew 13 hours over the ocean, mostly over open ocean, and landed safely. It was one of those giant Airbus A380s. It's like one of the largest passenger planes in the world. And you see this hole, it's at least 3 or 4 feet wide in the side of the engine. Now, the pilots, I think they figured they blew a tire on takeoff, which it turned out to be right, but they didn't see the hole until after they landed. They think one of the tires that got dislodged put a big bolt in the landing gear, and that's what blew the hole in the side. But that just shows you how safe flying is. You can fly 13 hours in a giant airplane with a gaping hole in the side, and the pilots don't even know about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nige, I've also seen where a single bird strike can take out an engine, you know?
Point well taken.
I looked into this one time. You know, they actually do testing where they take like bird carcasses and they will fire them into engines when they're building these things to like test their resilience. I'm not kidding about that. People can look it up, man. Yeah, it's all part of the process.
Coming up after 4 o'clock is Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida, planning to run for president. More proof that it could be a possibility. Details coming up next.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I see so many customers who have struggled to find a wedding band at other stores. When they come to Shane Company, they find the one. Not only do we have the widest selection of unique wedding bands, we are also experts at helping you find the perfect band to complement your engagement ring, even if it's an heirloom ring. You can play around with stacking bands, try contour bands, or just go with something simple. There are so many options. We also have handsome men's bands, hundreds of styles to choose from in every price range. You might have no idea what you want, but we'll take the time to show you different metal types, fits, and styles. You can even build your own with our online tool. And we offer a free lifetime warranty. Come see us and we'll help you both find a band that you love wearing every day. For some helpful tips, check out our online wedding band guide.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new furnace or AC unit is a big decision. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. We offer our PHP guarantee, which means if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet for $30 a month with no annual contract required. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call or go online today to learn more. Offer ends 8/28/2022. Restrictions apply. Enrollment in EcoBill and AutoPay required. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Equipment, installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Think back. Think back to when back or neck pain didn't rule your life. Now, think about standing up to back pain today. Because you can. With highly skilled care from IU Health, Indiana's only nationally ranked healthcare system. Our spine experts use an integrated approach to care and the latest surgical and non-surgical methods, so you can move away from back pain and on with life. Schedule a safe in-office appointment or visit us virtually at iuhealth.org/spine program.
Learn how a Retire Shield plan from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors provides clear, straightforward retirement solutions that are custom tailored for you. This Sunday on WIBC from 9 to 10 a.m.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Recycle your e-waste. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, there was a fatal crash on Indy's east side this morning. John Herrick has that story. IMPD responded to 2 shootings Wednesday night, one of them fatal, and a chance for storms today. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
father of the alleged July 4th parade shooter is speaking out. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. The father saying background checks were done and his son was approved. Fox's Garrett Tenney.
The director of the Illinois State Police says any potential culpability will be part of the ongoing criminal investigation.
Prosecutors claim the firearm used was a legally purchased semi-automatic rifle. WNBA player Brittany Griner pleaded guilty today in Russian court to drug possession and smuggling. Griner is charged with having vape canisters with cannabis oil in her luggage. She reportedly said the actions were unintentional because she was packing in haste. Griner's wife, Sherelle, spoke to supporters at a rally yesterday in Phoenix.
Let's make sure this administration knows that they have our support to do whatever is necessary and that we are not going to ever be quiet until she's home safely.
If convicted of large-scale transportation of drugs, Brittany Griner could face up to 10 years in Russian prison. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson resigns, saying he'll stay in the job until fall so a replacement can be chosen.
Conservative UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson stepping down as party leader, which then should lead to him departing as the PM. He broke the news in front of his famous office home at number 10 Downing Street. This after an amazing 36 hours in UK politics, during which a third of his government quit in protest, demanding that he leave. That in response to that latest promotion scandal and, frankly, months of controversial behavior and governing.
Fox's Greg Palcott in London. Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from Wimbledon. Nadal considered stopping in the quarterfinals against Taylor Fritz, wincing from abdominal pain, unable to play his customary style of tennis, but adjusted and managed to win. The 22-time Grand Slam champion now saying he has an abdominal injury and will not play his semifinal match tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A fatal crash on the east side, 90 degrees, mostly cloudy on the circle. Storms possible today with a low of 73. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. There was a fatal crash on the east side of Indianapolis this morning. John Herrick reports.
It happened on East Washington Street around 5:40 between South Rural Street and South Sherman Drive. Police say they found a woman who they pronounced dead at the scene, and the driver has been cooperating with police. The driver was also taken to a hospital for a blood draw, which is standard procedure after a fatal crash. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
One person killed and two others were hurt in two shootings Wednesday night in Indy. IMPD says two men were shot and one of them died at an Exxon gas station northeast of downtown. Another person was found shot on the west side. They were in the hospital in critical condition. If you plan on getting in a boat to beat the heat, don't drink and operate, says Captain Jet Quillen with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement on Indiana Outdoors Radio.
The heat and the sun is going to magnify the effects of that alcohol in your system.
He says alcohol cuts down on your reaction time. A chance for severe weather today.
It'll be pretty sporadic and pretty isolated. So we're not expecting widespread areas of severe weather, but anytime we get some thunderstorms or this kind of heat, we can get a severe storm, an isolated storm here or there that reaches those severe levels.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says watch out for damaging winds and heavy rain. Ukrainian Olympians are coming to the Hoosier States. Indiana, along with the Indiana Sports Corp and the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority, are collaborating to relocate the men's Ukrainian Olympic Greco-Roman wrestling team to Indiana to serve as its training location for 4 weeks this summer. Governor Holcomb says the team will arrive in Hammond today and train at Hammond Central High School until August 3rd. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Imagine if you could get a 14% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $14,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $28,000 bonus. Think it sounds too good to be true? It's not. Get all of the details from Bill Demery, my retirement guy, right here in Indy, by calling 317-972-9172. Learn how you could get a 14% bonus on your money. Get a great return that beats the heck out of the bank. And sleep well knowing that your money is backed by an A-plus rated insurance company. Oh, by the way, did I mention a 14% bonus? It's true. Get all the details by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172. 9172.
With traffic on the 5s, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, we need the rain. Second brush fire of the afternoon. Pike Township, northbound 65 after West 86th Street. That is a brush fire they are dealing with. Right lane is blocked and traffic stopped for about 2 miles. Also on the west side, southbound 465 stop and go from Crawfordsville Road down to West 10th Street. Inbound 65 slows 21st Street to the door split at Allisonville Road at 79th. Slow traffic as we have broken water mains they're working on right now. That's going to go on through evening rush. Traffic sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. With a limited time Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're basically made to slow down and relax. So when it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now, here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're tracking showers and thunderstorms tonight. Overnight, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s, warming to the 80s for your Friday, with several rounds of showers and storms possible. I'm Storm Track 8 Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown on 93 WIBC. I'm
Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Yeah, my name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is out. Brian Baker is in. And I heard you off the air mentioning something about your best friend Joe Biden's Twitter accounts.
Oh, yeah, I love Joe Biden, Nigel, as you're well aware.
Dude, it's so
all-time
funny. It's so funny. Like, your disdain for this particular president is on a different level. And I can't do anything but laugh. It's comical to me, but it's a serious thing, and I can tell it's not a joke for you, but I can just tell, man, it's just at a different level for you, and it cracks me up.
The unbridled rage that comes forth from within me, Nigel, whenever that man comes out and says something. I mean, his incompetence and his lies and just the total lack of integrity makes me so angry. And I thought that I couldn't be any more angry at the Democrat Party than I was under Obama when Obamacare went through. Yeah. I mean, that was the point in time where I decided, I'm done with the Democrat Party, and I carefully even called some of my friends. I did a little trimming, a little nip and tuck to the old friend list. But this president, he is on just a whole other level. And you know what it is, man? With Obamacare, the thing that really got me about that is I don't like to be controlled. And that was the government forcing me to do something. And then, of course, ultimately it wound up being bad for all of us in terms of what it did to costs and the quality of our health care. But I mean, this president is pushing things to a whole new level. And when I think about all the things that they have taken from me over the years, all the things they've cost me, including having to leave the state of California because all of the idiot policies that they went forth, that they pushed through when I was out there. And that state has been completely obliterated. So, yeah, I got a real attitude problem when it comes to this president. And I'm looking at his Twitter account here and just, fascinated because we all know President Biden doesn't write his own tweets. We all know there's a whole team, a big army of Twitter folk who get together that work within the administration, and they plan all of these tweets and make sure they're worded just perfectly. And then, of course, you have the folks who automatically have the responses that always say, I speak for all Americans when I say you're the best president ever. You do it. Here's an interesting thing, Nigel. If you go through and you look at his individual tweets, you can tell. I mean, they don't even make an attempt to hide it or pretend that it's actually Joe Biden. They go out at a specific either like top of the hour or bottom of the hour. Every now and then they'll get a couple of minutes on either side of that. But you could tell they're using some kind of a scheduling program. They probably have these tweets designed, a good couple of weeks in advance sometimes. And they just go out, and it's like this campaign now. At least, Donald Trump, as much as I hated the fact that he was on Twitter, at least it was authentic. All of his grammatical errors and syntax errors, all of it was there. Yeah, it makes me sick how phony this man is.
Yeah, I mean, with Trump's Twitter, it could be 2:00 in the morning. He could be up in the middle of the night taking a leak or something like that. Maybe even sitting on the can. Something comes to his mind. You know that it's him that wrote it. I think, like, if I ever got the chance to interview the President Trump, my first question would be, so what the hell was a Confefe tweet? That would be my first. And everything I could have asked him. I want to know what the Confefe tweet what really was.
By the way, what's the share price on Truth Social? How they doing over there?
I don't know. I don't know, Veronica. Hammer might have put us on it, but I don't have the password to it, so I don't look at it. Well, I mean, look, if Alex Berenson could get back on Twitter, Donald Trump has a chance, right? Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that would be great. One of the things I love doing in looking ahead of the midterms and even the 2024 presidential race is just hypothesizing all the different scenarios, coming up with all the different, maybe, especially with the GOP. We always talk about, boy, what are the Democrats going to do in 2024? Are they going to run Biden again? Biden has said he's going to run. Are they going to put Kamala Harris out there? What in the world are they going to do? But Republicans have kind of a problem as well. Do they want Donald Trump out there? Do they want him to win again or run again? Because that might bring out the people that came out to vote against him the last time that put Joe Biden in office. They didn't vote for Joe Biden so much as they voted for Donald Trump. So it might be a problem for the GOP. But another name that is being bantered about is Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida and how successful he's been in reopening that state over the course of COVID, and how economically driven and successful he's been in that state. But there hasn't been really, every time he's been asked about it, Brian, he's been, look, I'm running for governor next year. I'm here for the people of Florida. He is planning to attend a Utah fundraiser with GOP mega donors here pretty soon. I don't know when it is. I don't know when the fundraiser is, but it's a private fundraising event in Utah with really some of the country's wealthiest Republican donors. He hasn't publicly ruled out a run for president, but he hasn't said he was going to. So what do you think this means that Ron DeSantis going out to Utah to hang out with some GOP bigwigs with deep pockets?
You know, my sense, Nigel, is that he's probably feeling things out, but that ultimately they're waiting to see what Donald Trump does. Because DeSantis is young enough that he could wait it out and he could run in 2028 and he wouldn't have Donald Trump to deal with. And I mean, that's going to be a brutal battle in the primaries between those two. And I'm surprised, man. I mean, you know, as somebody that voted for Donald Trump twice, I look at him now and I go, you know, this guy is, whether it's fair or not, he's damaged goods at this point. And so having him in the running, I think splits the party versus if he, you know, just made the decision to not run. You probably see tremendous support behind DeSantis. So I don't know how that would split the party up in the primaries. And, you know, I see different polling numbers in terms of a matchup on who would be victorious on that. Listen, I loved what Donald Trump did for the country in his first term economically. I mean, he got it right on policies just across the board, but I don't want him to run again.
Do you think, like the January 6th committee hearings is all about Donald Trump and people in 2024? I mean, that's my theory anyway. This is all about Trump, evil Trump. Look, he could do it again. This is all about him, you know, getting him not to run. Although I think there's part of the Democrats, I think, again, there's part of them that wants him to run. Like, I think that's part of the strategy. Let's get Donald Trump to run, and then we'll put out the January 6th stuff, and we'll bring out the people that will, you know, voted against Trump in 2020, and they're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to point out how awful and bad the Orange Man is. And by the way, Roe v. Wade, maybe they bring some people out. Who knows? Although I don't know if you think that's a key factor in people going out to the voting booth in the midterms in 2024. Do you think Roe v. Wade has any sort of weight to it in terms of advantage for the Democrats?
You know, I'm sure that might motivate a few people because there are plenty of folks that are just one issue voters, but I don't know that it's going to make a significant difference. And, you know, those January 6 hearings, man, I mean,
they're a joke.
Try as they might. Yeah, they're a joke. And I don't really, you know, I don't even know a lot of people are hardcore leftists that are watching those hearings, man. I mean, people just don't care. They got their own fires they're putting out in their own lives, man.
Yeah, the woman, the star witness that heard like third hand that Trump tried to grab the wheel of the presidential limo. I mean, that was debunked within hours from the Secret Service. And they don't have anybody on that committee that is I mean, they have Kinzinger and Cheney. So,
right.
But it's a sham. It's a show trial.
Yeah, but, I had to really enjoy the outrage from folks who were upset with Donald Trump for throwing his lunch against the wall. The same people that didn't have a problem with Bill Clinton, playing hide the cigar with Monica in the Oval Office. But no, let's not get any food on the wall.
Do you want to do listener hate mail?
Oh, please.
Do you want me to read it, or do you want to do it?
Oh, no, I'll read it.
Go ahead.
And if we have appropriate music, bring it on up there, Mondo. But all right, so this came in. It says, quote, I've been trying for 3 days to tune into WIBC. I've literally tried 40 times randomly over 3 days. And every time, it's nothing but never-ending commercials. Shame on you people. This crap will be the death knell of conservative radio. You need to fire executives, not add more commercials. I hope you enjoy your George Soros money, you dirty traitors. And Dave Ramsey sucks. So does Nigel and whoever. We don't need goofballs like this trying to be funny. We need hosts who care about this country. It's shameful and greedy how you air so many commercials. Play real conservatives, not pretend a-holes. And Nigel, I don't know about you, but I'm not pretending anything, man.
Oh, I'm very authentic.
I'm the real deal.
And I don't know how we go from we play too many commercials to we're backed by George Soros. We have George Soros's money.
I don't know, man, but that ain't trickling down to me.
Where did you? Somebody said that to you personally, or am I not on an email list? Like, where did you get
went
that?
Out to the WIBC news department.
Oh, okay. Well, that was wonderful. They mentioned me, and so does Nigel and whoever. That was great. All right, Matt Baer, what's up with traffic?
Pike Township northbound 65 north of 86th Street. It is our second brush fire of the day. It is dry out. Right now, the right lane is blocked, and traffic is jammed back to West 71st Street there in the Pike. Also, looking at southbound 65 into downtown, stop and go traffic 21st Street to the north split. And Allisonville Road at 79th. Yeah, there's 75th. They're working on water mains. Water mains broken, and that's going to be going on through evening rush traffic there. Traffic sponsored by DoMyOwnPestControl.com. You need a lawn care pro and a pest control pro. You can have both in one guy. DoMyOwn.com will help you get there with pro products, pro knowledge, and pro support. DoMyOwn.com for the pro and you. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up next, a twerking state senator out of Rhode Island. That'll be a story in Is This Anything? That is next. It's, 89 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
Those who've built their own financial success know that moving forward requires not just the right tools, but an in-depth knowledge of how to use them. That's why Edelman Financial Engines gives you a dedicated wealth planner supported by a team of experts. We know a modern wealth planning relationship demands human insight powered by advanced technology. Our advice is tailor-made for your personal goals, and our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research. We model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. See what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit EFEWealthPlanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines, built for those who built themselves.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard Air dealer. The owner is Chris Wettikin, and he sells the ductless Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, which is a great way to heat and cool specific rooms in your home with geothermal efficiency and very low energy cost.
We have the low wall mount systems, we have high wall mount systems, and if you just don't want to see the unit, we have flush mount systems that can be built into the ceiling.
Check out the latest technology at AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Nearly 90% of people that struggle with addiction don't get help. Don't wait until it's too late. With Landmark Recovery, you can overcome drug addiction and live a better life. Call Landmark Recovery at 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything? On 93 WIBC.
Brian Baker filling in for Hammer. You want to do some Is This Anything?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
This first story here. I've seen this going around. At first, I didn't know who it was or what the context was. And now I'm like, what? This person's a state senator? The state senator out of Rhode Island is going viral. She posted a video on TikTok of herself doing a handstand and twerking in a thong bikini on the beach. She's a healthy gal, by the way. Here she is. Here she is. Her name's Tierra Mack defending herself in another TikTok video.
I knew that y'all would act this way towards a black queer woman. But sadly, I've been called worse things on the internet than like me upside down twerking. Y'all gotta treat black queer women better, please.
Is this anything?
God, I'm so depressed about the future of our country, Nige.
That's a state senator.
I just want to take a bottle of pills right now. I really do. This is something, man. Social media is never a good thing for politicians. They really ought to just stay off in general, don't you think? I mean, nothing good ever comes of it. Nothing.
I mean, what's next? Jim Lucas doing the helicopter naked at a Long John Silver's?
That's a sight I don't need to see.
Here's the other thing. If you're a resident of Massachusetts, or this woman's representing you, and you happen to have a problem with this particular video, all of a sudden you're a racist and you're a bigot and you're a homophobe because you don't approve of her twerking on her head in a bikini. And that's it's just like the mayor of my town, Mayor Emily, when she was picking on and bullying and intimidating the guy on Facebook who had an alternate view of gun control. And then you don't happen to like that she did that, and she conflates that, and other people were conflating that with, well, you don't care about kids getting killed in the classroom, and you have more of a problem with somebody that uses foul language. No, both things can be true. You know,
that was stunning to me, Nige. I'd never heard of her until that whole controversy blew up.
Neither had anybody else.
No, but I also don't know what the political makeup is in Zionsville, man. I mean, that always struck me. Maybe I was judging a book by its cover. It always struck me as kind of a conservative area, and I thought, how did this lady get elected in the first place?
Because nobody really knew she was a Democrat when she was running. She ran on a platform of bringing business and commercial development to Zionsville. Nobody had really any clue. She only won by 80 to 88 votes against the previous guy who was the first mayor. So That's another thing. But like for this woman, the state senator, act like you've been there before. Show a little professionalism, right?
Yeah.
And don't accuse me of being a racist just because, you're my representative out in Rhode Island, and I don't necessarily like the look of that.
Well, it goes to the issue of judgment, Nige. I mean, that's what it ultimately comes down to.
Yes, absolutely.
So I definitely, if I were a resident of Rhode Island, that's not somebody that I would ultimately want to send to a national platform and have her represent me in Washington.
Here's one for you. This is something I think I retweeted a couple hours ago. You scroll down at Hammer and Nigel. Really, some amazing footage of some fireworks gone wrong. Listen to the surprise this family gets. They're shooting off fireworks in their front yard, and then like the fireworks go haywire, right? They go AWOL, and they rocket it into the rear of the minivan, the rear end of the minivan, and then it exploded into a fiery inferno, sent them all running.
Run!
It's gonna be right there. It's not gonna work. You gotta put it in the chute.
I mean, it sounded like they ran over an IED. Like, you go scroll down at Hammer and Nigel. Everybody's fine, but tell me if you think this is anything or not, Brian.
It's great. Yes, that's definitely something. They spent a lot of money on fireworks too, man. And the video is compelling. I mean, I stood there, I laughed and laughed and laughed. And you said nobody was hurt, man. The only thing that would have made this story better is if it would have happened at one of those gender reveal parties, man.
Well, it has happened at those gender reveal parties. People have died.
I mean, I would like to see what the balance is, what the total count is in severe injuries at gender reveal parties versus people playing with fireworks. And generally, alcohol is involved in both. But.
All of them. All right, check this out. Janis Joplin's hand-painted mandolin that she gifted to Jimi Hendrix sold at auction for over $280,000. Here's the high bid winner picking up their piece of rock and roll history.
Here's your mandolin. Congrats on the winning bid. Oh, and an interesting anecdote about it. Anyone who's ever owned it died! Have fun with it.
Janis Joplin's hand-painted mandolin gifted to Jimi Hendrix, sold at auction for $280,000. Is this anything, and are you a memorabilia guy?
I am a memorabilia guy, but I don't like really high-priced stuff like that. I just like, little goofy things that you pick up here and there. I have some stuff. I have this bird from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, but I got that for free. Like when you're spending $280,000, I just don't have the stomach to spend that kind of money on something that's going to sit in your house and be cool to tell your guests about for about a week. And then after that, you're going to think, I really could have put that money somewhere it would be making me even more money.
All right, it's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Mark Diedel's definitely the only real estate agent I'd trust to sell my home. Take Paul and Teresa in Edinburgh, for example. They needed to move out of town, but first they needed to get top dollar on their existing home to afford the move. Now, here's the thing. They had 21 acres out of the city, so it wasn't an easy sale. They reached out to Mark Dietl, heard about him on our show. He listed and sold their home in a few weeks for $60,000 over their asking price.
Call the only agent that we recommend on the Hammer and Nigel show, Mark Dietl. Mark Dietl guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Dietl guarantee. Call Mark Dietl today, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel, markdietl.com.
Imagine if you could get a 14% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $14,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $28,000 bonus. Think it sounds too good to be true? It's not. Get all of the details from Bill Demery, my retirement guy right here in Indy, by calling 317-972-9172. Learn how you could get a 14% bonus on your money. Get a great return that beats the heck out of the bank. And sleep well knowing that your money is backed by an A-plus rated insurance company. Oh, by the way, did I mention a 14% bonus? It's true. Get all the details by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Showing some Hoosier hospitality to Olympic wrestlers. 89 degrees, radar shows a storm on its way to Indy from the west. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:30. The Ukrainian Olympic Greco-Roman wrestling team is coming to Indiana to train. They'll be at Hammond Central High School for the next 4 weeks.
They have a dedicated wrestling room. They have a swimming pool. They're able to use the football field, track, and gymnasiums for any type of active games that they would like to do. So really, they have full access to the facility, which is fantastic for them.
Megan Gooden, Sports Development Manager with the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. President Joe Biden awarded 17 people the Presidential Medal of Freedom Thursday during a White House ceremony. Olympic champion gymnast Simone Biles became the youngest to ever receive the honor at just 25 years old.
Today, she adds to her medal count of 32. I know you're going to find room. 32 Olympic and World Championship medals.
A woman is okay after she was pulled from her car that was on fire Thursday morning near Indianapolis. She crashed into a cable barrier on the side of I-74, and 2 people who saw it happen saved her. One used a fire extinguisher, while the other pulled the driver free. There were shootings in Indianapolis last night, one on the northeast side, the other on the west side. 1 person was killed, 2 others badly hurt.
The status of our agency is that we remain laser focused on tackling violent crime in our city.
IMPD Captain Mike Leeper says despite the tough evening, he feels police are making progress on cutting down crime in Indianapolis. Now the stock report. The Dow finished up 346 points to finish at 31,384. The Nasdaq rose 259 points to 11,621, and the S&P 500 rose 57 to close at 3,902 points. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:32.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet for $30 a month with no annual contract required. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call or go online today to learn more. Offer ends 8/28/2022. Restrictions apply. Enrollment in EcoBill and autopay required. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Equipment, installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
With traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, we're looking at northbound 465 slow in the northwest side now from 86th Street on up to 865. Inbound 65 stop and go 21st Street to the north split. Working on Allisonville Road at East 79th Street. That's because of broken water mains, 2 of them, and that's going to be going on through evening rush. Allisonville Road down to 1 lane in each direction. It is slow. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or North Shadeland, DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're tracking showers and thunderstorms tonight. Overnight, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s, warming to the 80s for your Friday, with several rounds of showers and storms possible. I'm Storm Track 8 Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown on 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Brian Baker is filling in for Hammer. I'm Nigel, and I swear to God, my brother over the weekend, my brother Adam was trying to talk me into downloading TikTok onto my phone, and I said, I thought about it, but then after I saw that state senator we were just talking about out of Rhode Island going viral after posting a video on TikTok of herself twerking upside down in her bikini, I thought, there's nothing for me on TikTok, really. And my brother, no, it's great. The algorithms are great. They know exactly what you want to see. It's so funny. I don't care if China's watching me or not. It's awesome. And
he is right on that. Their algorithm is far superior to anyone else's. I mean, it does serve you up the exact content that you want, and it does it quick.
But how pathetic is it that the White House is now asking supporters to post videos of Biden on its platform? Did you see the story? Biden sending out pre-edited videos to supporters so they could put them on their TikTok and social media accounts.
Well, and think about the irony in that too, Nigel, that here this app that they're trying to ban because it's essentially an espionage tool. We've got the president of the United States now saying, let's utilize this. Let's get all of our supporters out there, make sure they're sending their data to China. Oh, God, they are such a mess.
But is this the thing that's going to save President Biden's presidency? TikTok videos?
Here's the thing, Nigel. I mean, the majority of people I know that actually utilize this, I would say the vast majority anyway, they're under the age of 25. And I don't know. Joe Biden doesn't strike me as all that hip and cool. I don't really see him appealing to the folks.
I mean, he can't even complete a coherent sentence. Get ready, Bal. You're going to be in for a problem. So now it's TikTok that's going to save President Biden's his legacy, which, again, Boris Johnson asking, resigning as prime minister of the UK, basically for being an idiot. If we could just, if that's the goal, or if that's the kind of bar that's set in the UK, then maybe, I don't know, after Afghanistan, I think Joe Biden probably could have been badgered and talked into resigning. Don't you think? Like, if that was the way it worked here in the United States as it does in the UK, I mean, after Afghanistan, that debacle, I think, that would have been a great case for Biden to step down.
Well, he'd have to be aware that he's actually president. Now, I'm not sure that he is on most days. You want a great viral video? You want to go viral on TikTok? Listen, little tip here to the White House. Capture a video and do a TikTok of Biden with a smartphone trying to figure out how to send a tweet. Now, that's a video I'd sit there and watch over and over again. That would be a viral hit.
Oh, man, this guy, I've got some audio here for you that's going to blow your mind. I think we might have to probably play this more than once, Kyle. So get ready. This guy in Florida is facing animal cruelty charges. Investigators say he killed his neighbor's pet rooster.
Well, no.
He said this guy, so police said this guy was checking his mail when his neighbor's rooster began attacking him. And so this guy's name's James Nix. He said he picked up a stick in the yard and tried to hit it in self-defense. But with the rooster jumping at him, he accidentally knocked the bird in its head and it died. So, so after...
Listen, the bird was the aggressor.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And after animal control officers, but there was like an investigation. Tax money was spent investigating this. This guy was arrested for animal cruelty, spent like 30 hours in jail. And he said he still doesn't understand why his neighbor called the, quote, chicken police.
So, he calls the chicken police on me. Chickens are dying every day, people, at churches, Popeyes, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Did tell him, after the chicken hit my dad, I said, hey, man, the chicken attacked my dad. Oh, it's just a chicken. What's he gonna do? You know, okay, well, look. Kids that used to live over there, they were throwing rocks and sticks at this chicken to keep it away. I didn't know to give it a 21-gun salute, CPR, mouth to mouth, you know, or call the chicken ambulance. So I'm defending myself. You know, I was feared for my safety, and the chicken, you know, died.
Oh, man.
Is that the best piece of audio you've ever heard?
Oh, God, that's great. But you know what, Nigel, I see a lot of people commenting online about this, and people who don't really know what they're talking about because they've never actually, you know, lived around a rooster. My neighbor had a rooster, and I can tell you firsthand, these are beautiful, majestic creatures. And I remember when my neighbor got one, and it was so cool, and I thought, oh, every morning waking up to their and that first day came, and I heard that majestic rooster crow, and I thought, this is bliss. That feeling lasted for about 3 hours, because what you find out is that they don't just crow at sunup. They crow all day long. And those suckers are mean, man. They're little domestic terrorists running around. They will attack you. They've got these claws, man. They are mean. They are mean animals.
Do you think this guy in Jacksonville should have spent 30 hours in jail for what amounts to... He said he picked up a stick and was poking at it and trying to defend himself, and he accidentally hit his head, and that's how it died. You don't go to jail for something like that, right?
I got to tell you, man, the one time that I went to lock up, I was scared to death, but I thought at least, you know, I'd gotten locked up for fighting. And I thought at least, you know, these people here, they'll be under the impression that I could hold my own. How'd you like to be sitting a bunch of hardened criminals? And no, I'm in here for beating up a rooster. Good Lord.
Just play part of that again where he talks about my neighbor called the chicken police.
So, you know, he calls the chicken police on me. Chickens are dying every day, people, at churches, Popeyes, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Did tell him after the chicken hit my dad, I said, hey, man, the chicken attacked my dad. Oh, it's just a chicken. What's he gonna do? You know, okay, well, look. Kids that used to live over there, they were throwing rocks and sticks at this chicken to keep it away. I didn't know to give it a 21-gun salute, CPR, mouth to mouth, you know, or call the chicken ambulance. So I'm defending myself. You know, I was feared for my safety, and the chicken, you know, died.
Yeah, mark that down for the best of year-end, Mondo.
Oh, God, that's
that
great.
Is classic. Headline out of South Texas. You ready for this? Christians stripped down at a South Texas nudist community.
Great. Spreading the word is saving souls and stripping down. Oh,
I'm just going to read. I'll just read straight. I think this is from the Associated Press. Misty Katz, part owner of Nature's Resort. For as long as Katz has been a nudist, she's also been a Christian. Public nudity may seem antithetical to the modesty often promoted by churches, but to Katz, the two go hand in hand. Quote, believe it or not, we are not believe it or not, we are modest. Modesty doesn't mean you have to cover everything up. We don't display our wares. We're not adorning various parts of our bodies in a way that's going to attract attention. Now, Brian, there are some critics of this, including someone named Mary Lohman of the Christian Working Woman. She sees the lifestyle as an affront to God, and her website's page, The Christian Dress Code, she says God's dress code from the beginning has been to cover our nakedness. Christian nudists, Brian. I mean, you and I think, both have a background in religion and somewhat in Christianity.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I agree with the Christian nudists' way of thinking.
Yeah, and I'm not really a big fan of these nudist colonies or nude beaches, man, because they never look like supermodels. You know, if you've ever been near one, they had a few of these in California. They all look like Boris Johnson, really. I mean, it's just never eye candy. And it can cause, if you actually do go and you expose yourself to that firsthand, it will cause sexual dysfunction for years. Oh. I know what I'm talking about here, Nige. The mental images are damaging.
You've been?
Yeah, listen, man. My wife and I, we honeymooned near San Francisco. Let me tell you, man. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that city, man. The feces in the streets is the least of their problems.
Let me give the flip side of this coin here. So this Christian nudist, there's another pastor that's coming to their defense. Pastor Ron Smith of McAllen's Church of the King says, quote, I think it's odd, I think it's strange, but I have no proof that it's sinning. We have a retired couple that sits in the front row every Sunday that live at a nudist camp. I believe they're dedicated Christians. And because the Bible doesn't explicitly forbid nudism, Smith says he cannot condemn those who practice it. In fact, the Bible condones nudism on several occasions. When Adam and Eve were in the garden talking to God every day, they were nude. When David had his big victory in the battle, he went dancing in the streets naked to praise God. So it must be okay in God's eyes, but definitely not mine. My eyes would be
More
scarred
naked.
for life. Yeah. All right. Coming up, some booze news. Cure for your hangover. A new way to overcome some of those hangovers you might have. We'll tell you about it next. 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates have started to drop, but you need to get locked in today. And at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. We don't just talk about low rates, we have them. Maybe you've been holding off on that cash out refinance. Don't wait any longer. Now's the time. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. Home with a 10-day closing guarantee.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Also, let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted food cravings and lose the weight. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
My name is Taylor McLean, and my brother saved 5 lives. In 2016, when my brother, Hoosier race car driver Brian Clausen, tragically died in a racing accident, he became a hero because of his decision to be an organ donor. That decision has inspired countless others to do the same.
He didn't just give somebody his heart. There were several people that were recipients of him, and that's powerful.
NASCAR champ Ryan Newman sat down with Indiana Donor Network and shared how signing up to be an organ donor is bigger than one person.
I mean, to think about what you can do for yourself is one thing, but what you can do for so many others is powerful. And I'm just proud to be a part of what Brian and his family had started in Indiana Donor Network and the Driven to Save Lives campaign.
Learn more or sign up as an organ donor at driventosavelives.org.
Treat yourself to unique live music this weekend. The 56th Indianapolis Early Music Festival entertains and enriches you with timeless, beautiful music from early eras. Visit iemusic.org for info and tickets. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Matt Bear is in the WIBC Traffic Center.
Yeah, Nigel, looking at inbound 65 stop-and-go traffic right now, 21st Street down to the north split. On the east side, southbound 465 starting to grind from 70 down to 74. And still a little bit of slow from the brush fire in Pike Township, northbound 65, 71st up to 79th. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
89 is the American Standard Cooling Weather Center on 93 WIBC.
You set them up and I'll knock them back, Lloyd. One by one.
We are gonna read booze news, cause it's really fun.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Nigel presents Booze News, Booze News. Yeah. Time for Booze News.
Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer. I'm Nigel. A new hangover pill just went on sale in England. And it sounds like it might actually work, but don't get too excited. It works by breaking down alcohol in your stomach and preventing you from getting drunk. So it's like more for people who want to drink socially but not feel the effects. So you might as well just order an O'Doul's.
Yeah, how did something like this actually get developed, Nige? I mean, it's sort of one of those things like with Viagra where they were trying to create a pill that did something else, and then the side effect was, okay, well, let's market it under this, guys.
Well, look, the side effect from drinking is the hangover. I mean, acting like an idiot and being inebriated and getting drunk, that's the side effect from alcohol. But then the end result is the hangover, and it is probably the number one driving factor as to why I would ever stop drinking. It's just I can't do it anymore. It's just it's alcohol is a depressant. You're not motivated when you wake up in the morning and go and have to have responsibilities as a father, as a husband, as a guy that runs a household. If you're hungover, you just want to lay on the couch and eat hamburgers and drink Gatorade.
Yeah, let me tell you, I learned my lesson the first time that I got drunk on vodka and orange juice, early. Yeah, and then early the next day, I had to go and work at this boat dealership with a forklift in an enclosed area that didn't have real good ventilation. Let me tell you, man, I haven't touched that stuff ever since, and it was so bad that it was like mouthwash, toothpaste, anything that had just a little bit of alcohol in it was making me sick. So I learned my lesson early on with that stuff. But what's the point, right? I mean, if you're not gonna, I don't really get it. I mean, isn't that the whole reason that you drink, to kind of chill out a little bit or get a little buzz going on?
It's so funny because I think vodka OJ was the first hard alcohol I ever drank and got extremely sick on. Drank too much. I was up in Purdue with my buddy Jimi, and he was living with a couple of guys that were like older, like grad students, and and I drank a lot of those and a few beers, and we went out and we came back and woke up in the middle of the night. My head was just spinning, and I'm puking everywhere in the sink. I just puking, filling up the sink with and the worst part is I was moaning. Well, this is the first time I'd ever been hungover. I'd been sick from alcohol, and I was going, Jimi, Jimi, and he comes running down in the middle of the night, and he goes, dude, my roommates are going to think something like, what are you doing? I'm so drunk, Jimi. And I was moaning and saying my buddy's name. And I just remember he helped me clean up and just got me all together and chucked some water, and I was able to fall back to sleep. But it is funny, the first time, that's my first drink as well, some screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Well,
I've had it happen to me with wine too, with a good story that maybe I'll have to write about it sometime. I'm not sure we can talk about it on the air without the FCC getting a little upset with us.
A New Hampshire man arrested after leaving 3 kids alone in his car unattended with multiple deadly weapons, including a loaded gun and knife. Here's Manchester police spokesman talking about the arrest.
Children that age should not be left alone, coupled with the situation here where we had a loaded gun as well as a knife inside the car. That could become a very dangerous situation, and we're glad that somebody made a phone call and got the police there when they did.
Okay, you want to talk about gun regulation, maybe some new gun laws on the books? I don't think additional gun laws in general would help, but you got to start throwing the book at these people when this kind of thing happens. That might discourage some of the irresponsible, gun use, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That might discourage. You leave your kids in the car with your guns, you get them taken away, your kids and the guns, and maybe you'll get your kids back.
Yeah, I can't understand how someone makes that kind of a decision, Nigel. That's sort of that lack of judgment. It's the same way I feel about the people that leave their kids in the car on a hot day, and then it ends in tragedy. I just don't understand. I mean, how do you forget these things? How is that not your first responsibility as a parent to protect your children, and then they have to be protected from your own stupidity?
Yeah, look, I'm not Guy Relevant. I'm not the gun guy. I know you and him have had your differences on the air. But I certainly don't think you need to take guns away from law-abiding citizens like Beto O'Rourke wants to do. Hell yes, we'll come take your guns. But what you do need to start doing is throwing everything you can at people like this who are not responsible. You take his guns, you make it extremely hard for him to get it back, and again, maybe you get the kids back. You throw the books at these people when something happens like that, and that might change people's perception and responsibilities and things like that.
Yeah, by the way, you mentioned Guy Relford and I bumping heads. That was over the issue of AR-15s. And as you recall, I actually reached out to Guy Relford publicly after that and conceded that he was right and I was wrong on that entirely. And you know what changed my mind, Nige?
No.
The riots. The riots is where I changed my mind. I thought, okay, now I can make a legitimate argument for why somebody would need this kind of a weapon. And that was it, man. I mean, and it surprised me. And I turned the corner and, I had to come out and, eat a little bit of crow.
Look at you.
But he was 100% right, man.
Gun Guy, by the way, filling in for Hammer this coming Monday on the Hammer and Nigel show from 3 to 7. Coming up after 5 o'clock, I got some audio here for you. Tucker Carlson did this interview with a new media company founded by Ben Smith. Ben Smith is from BuzzFeed and the New York Times. It's like BuzzFeed published the debunked Steele dossier. And Tucker and him had an awkward, kind of intense, heated debate, and we'll have audio highlights for you coming up after 5 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Co-owner Dave Magine says patchwork fixes to an old unit only waste money in today's economy.
Waiting to replace your AC isn't saving you any money. Replacing now will lower your cooling bills, you have peace of mind with an extended warranty, and the cost of material and labor is going up. Go to bplusw.com.
That's B, the word plus, W.com for B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're really looking forward to betting on the Scottish Open this weekend and the British Open next weekend. The PGA Tour obviously in full swing. And the best place to tee off, none other than FanDuel Sportsbook. I love betting golf. It's so much fun. You can bet tournament winners, top 20 finishes, match betting, so much more. And you can now combine your PGA Tour bets on FanDuel for an even bigger payday. FanDuel is an official betting partner of the PGA Tour, so they'll have all your favorite bets to choose from. And right now, new customers, check this out, get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Download the app, use my promo code WIBC, and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets, win or lose. Use my promo code WIBC. Must be 21 plus. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9 with it.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit EFEWealthPlanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet for $30 a month with no annual contract required. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call or go online today to learn more. Offer ends 8/28/2022. Restrictions apply. Enrollment in EcoBill and AutoPay required. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Equipment, installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Right now, it's a seller's market. It's Terry Stacy for Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate in 60 seconds at callcrestpoint.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, corporate electronic recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, IMPD is asking for help and looking for a missing 2-year-old girl. Ukrainian wrestlers are coming to the Hoosier State, and IMPD and John Herrick reports on a couple shootings last night. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC.
Derek Chauvin is sentenced to 21 years in federal prison for civil rights violations. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. The former Minneapolis police officer now will serve a few more years in addition to those for his murder conviction of George Floyd. The plea deal calls for Chauvin to serve the sentences at the same time and to be transferred from a Minnesota state prison to a federal prison. The federal prison likely will be safer for Chauvin, and he may be held under less restrictive conditions. 17 Americans received the highest civilian award today, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
The 17 recipients are decorated athletes, religious leaders, entrepreneurs, politicians, civil rights leaders, an actor, and military trailblazer.
That's who we are as Americans, and that's what we see. An extraordinary group of Americans up here on this stage.
President Biden noted off-the-field accomplishments of U.S. women's soccer star Megan Rapinoe and gymnast Simone Biles, and the efforts of Sandra Lindsay, a New York nurse who was the first American to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Republican Senator John McCain, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, and union leader Richard Trumka were awarded the medal posthumously.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Detroit police officer Lauren Courts died today from gunshot wounds sustained last night responding to a shooting. Detroit Police Chief James White paying tribute to Officer Courts.
We were robbed of one of our heroes. The city was robbed of a great father, a great police officer, a great brother, a great son, and a great husband. And we should all be outraged.
The shooter was hit by gunfire from another officer. His identity has not been released. Stocks finish up for the day, a welcome sight for many. The Dow finishing up triple digits at 3,385, the S&P up to 3,903, and the Nasdaq in the green at 11,621. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A 2-year-old missing, 89 degrees, and the rain is on its way from the west. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. IMPD is looking for 2-year-old Jaylee Johnson. She's 2 feet tall, 10 inches tall, 35 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen around Michigan and 10th Streets. Give police a call if you know anything. There were shootings in Indianapolis Wednesday night, one on the northeast side, the other on the west side. One person was killed, 2 others are badly hurt.
The status of our agency is that we remain laser focused on tackling violent crime in our city.
IMPD Captain Mike Leeper says despite the tough evening, he feels police are making progress on cutting down crime in Indianapolis. He was moving meth across state lines. Anthony Shanklin was caught driving the drunks from Louisville to New Albany, Indiana last year. He was sentenced Thursday to 7 years, followed by 4 years of supervision. Ukraine's Greco-Roman wrestling team is in Indiana. Eric Berman explains why.
The Greco-Roman wrestling team will train for 4 weeks at Hammond Central High School. Governor Holcomb offered Indiana facilities to Ukraine Olympians in March after the Russian invasion. But Megan Gooden with the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority says the training camp isn't directly related to the war.
In the past, they have been able to train with the U.S. team in Colorado, but it did not work out that way this year because of scheduling and timing for other things that they have going on.
Gooden says the team works with a coach in Chicago and training in Hammond puts them in easy reach. Eric Berman, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You've probably used a koozie to keep your beverage cold during these summer months, but what about using one for ice cream? Bluebell Ice Cream started selling koozies for their pint-sized containers Wednesday, and they sold out in just a few hours. The company promises they'll restock their supply so more people can get their hands on them. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Imagine if you could get a 14% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. If you invest $100,000, you get a $14,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $28,000 bonus. Think it sounds too good to be true? It's not. Get all of the details from Bill Demery, my retirement guy, right here in Indy, by calling 317-972-9172. Learn how you could get a 14% bonus on your money. Get a great return that beats the heck out of the bank. And sleep well knowing that your money is backed by an A-plus rated insurance company. Oh, by the way, did I mention a 14% bonus? It's true. Get all the details by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
With traffic on the 5s, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at inbound 65. We're stopped. 21st Street to the north split. East side southbound 465 slows after 70 down to South Shadeland Avenue. Allisonville Road still being worked on at East 79th Street. Broken water mains, they are fixing Allisonville Road. Alternating traffic directions right now, that is slowing us down. Traffic sponsored by Fresh Time Market. Get fired up for grilling season at your local Fresh Time Market. With certified Angus beef, bone and ribeye, just $7.99 a pound. Now through July 12th. Get real. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're tracking showers and thunderstorms tonight, overnight, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s, warming to the 80s for your Friday, with several rounds of showers and storms possible. I'm Storm Track 8 Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown on 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
We got a long way to go because of inflation, because of I call it the Putin tax increase. Putin because of gasoline and all that grain he's keeping from being able to get to the market.
Oh, I hate that man. I hate that man. I hate that man.
I heard Brian off the air as Kyle was playing that clip of Joe Biden in Cleveland yesterday. We were literally screaming off the air.
I hate that man so much.
The Putin tax increase, blaming stuff on Putin again, including high gas prices. And
you've got idiots out there that buy this. They buy into the rhetoric. I mean, that's how stupid the people are that have the right to go and cast a vote. Idiots!
Hey, said Joe. It's all Putin's fault, Brian.
Anyway. You know, it's funny. Just a side note about that little speech he was giving. He was in Cleveland touting some program to benefit unions, and the top two Democrats in Ohio running for office wanted nothing to do with him. They were nowhere to be found. The guy that's running for governor and then the guy that's running against J.D. Vance, Tim Ryan, really they were nowhere to be found. The president of the United States in their home state, they're running for office, and they had disappeared. What does that tell you, Brian?
It tells me they don't want the Biden stank on them. And how pathetic is this man that he's actually got marketing slogans now for his own policy failures? The Putin price hike. People are so stupid that they actually are buying into that, Nigel. You know, I hang on here. Let me comment because my daughter's in the vicinity today.
Please don't calm down. That's bad for the radio show. Don't calm down. We don't want calm Brian.
You know, what I have noticed, and this gives me a little bit of hope for the future of America, Nige, is that I've seen where even CNN, MSNBC, some of these networks that are a little bit more to the left or very much to the left are actually starting to come out and be a little critical of him. So you can see where they're realizing, okay, this guy doesn't have a shot in 2024. So they're slowly picking at him. And, you know, my gosh, I mean, you've got people within the Biden administration that are just walking away at this point because because they know that this crap with Hunter, they had the video that came out, you had the voicemail with Joe Biden, and it is never just one big explosive nuclear bomb when it comes to a scandal. It's death by paper cuts, a little bit more information, a little bit more of the evidence against them trickles out over time, and you watch as the person hangs themselves with their own words as they try and defend this. And then all of a sudden, the next piece of evidence comes out. And now they got to backtrack and figure out, okay, well, how do I get my stories to line up? It's going to be disastrous for the Biden administration.
And the media, along with other Democrats, Biden has served his purpose. They got Trump out of office. He got the quote-unquote 81 million votes, and his purpose has been served. His ratings are in the toilet. He is underwater everywhere, and they know they don't need him anymore. And this is a perfect example of the top two Democrats running for office in Ohio. Here is Joe Biden giving this big speech to union workers, and these people, Tim Ryan and what is it? Is it Nan Whaley? I think is the person running for governor. I think that's the name. That nowhere to be found. Stacey Abrams down in Georgia was nowhere to be found when Joe Biden was down there talking about voter suppression, which is like her platform. That's her thing, and she had to go get her hair done or something like that. They don't want anything to do with this guy. It's like I saw this clip. I think it was last night. It may have been on Tucker or the Five of people asking Tim Ryan, who's running for senator against J.D. Vance, do you want the Joe Biden endorsement? Do you want that endorsement? And he just kept on saying, you know what? I'm going to be the face of this campaign. I'm the face of this campaign. He would duck and evade, and he would not answer the question.
He said, no, I don't want. I'm not going to be associated with them. I want to win. Listen, man. I know there were arguments about voter fraud and all that. And listen, I didn't buy into any of that. I'm sure 81 million people voted for Joe Biden, and therefore I am expecting 81 million apologies, Nige. I want them personally handwritten and sent to me. I'll set up a PO box.
Okay. All right. Are we playing the feud here, Kyle? Let's play the feud. Are we playing the feud? Yes, we are playing the feud. Oh,
there
yeah.
we go.
I thought this was pretty interesting. Tucker Carlson, number one talking head in cable news, opinion shows, prime time, did an interview, this like live streaming interview with this new media company. And this company is founded by a guy named Ben Smith. It's formerly the New York Times, did media columns there, and ran BuzzFeed. Do you remember BuzzFeed published they were the ones with the Steele dossier, the famously bought and paid for Steele dossier that's been completely debunked, and it was bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, the Russian PP tape. BuzzFeed ran with that whole thing. So this guy Ben Smith, he founded this new media company. I don't know what it's called. So Tucker came on, to his credit, and they started to get into it about comments that Tucker's made in recent years, talking about immigration, race relations, and that whole the great replacement theory. Here's a little bit of that back and forth.
I'm interviewing you. Does that sound racist to you? You just suggested I'm a white supremacist.
I found that clip disturbing. I think the language of replacement theory, which you've popularized. Obviously, I'm not suggesting some straight line between words and actions, but it is the phrase that has been used by mass shooters.
This is why you are considered correctly a propagandist and not a journalist, because I just explained in detail, with total sincerity, what I believe. You ignored it and invoked mass shooters. So that's not what you just did.
I asked you how you felt about it. I actually do want to ask you about something. I'd like to ask you about something that actually I think we probably have more common ground on.
How ridiculous you are, and I think it's evident to any fair person watching.
I guess I'm trying to give you an opportunity to respond to things that have been said and written about you. But let's move to something that I'm really not looking to have a.
Does this sound like racist ideology? And you're like, I'm disturbed by the Media Matters clip for 8 seconds. Like, are you being serious?
This is the part of Tucker Carlson's show that I missed. Now, this wasn't on Tucker's show. This is on this new media company show founded by Ben Smith. I watched Tucker on a regular basis. I noticed over the past year or two that they've faded away or gotten away from the segments where he argues with is somebody that disagrees with it. He won't bring on people like Ben Smith, who he used to bring on. Like, he eviscerated Ben Smith back in 2018 with the whole BuzzFeed Steele dossier thing. But I don't know why. Maybe the audience doesn't like that. Maybe the testing isn't very good for that. I found it compelling. I found these clips to be compelling.
That was one of the main reasons that I enjoyed watching Tucker Carlson was to see him get in these battles and then to see that look he would get on his face where it was just like he couldn't believe how stupid this person was, and he just sort of had that bewildered, befuddled look on his face.
My buddy Woody calls that look mayonnaise face. Tucker's mayonnaise face. He's looking at you. He's looking at you like you're eating mayonnaise out of the jar with a spoon. That's the kind of face you'd make. It's the kind of face so anyway, here, let me play a couple of more clips here. This is Ben Smith talking about, Tucker working at Fox News, and could he ever go negative on Donald Trump in a sustained way?
And I'm curious if at Fox in particular you feel, could you go negative on Trump in a really sustained way? Could you support someone else without permission from above and without your audience turning off?
Yeah, I mean, when you and everybody else in the American media were cheering on a new war with Syria or Iran or some other insane neocon quagmire you guys push constantly, and Trump kind of fell for it, and I went after him directly, multiple times on that.
And you don't have to clear that with,
I don't clear anything. I don't clear anything with anybody.
Yeah, and Brian, he does go after the Republican establishment quite a bit.
Often.
I mean, Lindsey Graham is a perfect example of somebody that he goes after. Here, I got one more clip here for you before we hit a break. Again, Tucker Carlson doing this interview on this new media company founded by Ben Smith, who is a former New York Times guy, wrote for, ran BuzzFeed. He asked Tucker if he's running for president.
I'm not running.
I don't want to belabor that one.
Host. And I enjoy my job, by the way. And it's what a blessing it is to say what you really think. Like, only women can get pregnant. I dare you to say that.
You spoke.
You can't say that.
You did it.
I dare you to say only women can get pregnant, Ben Smith. I could say it, but you can't. That was great. All right, Matt Bear's got to look at traffic.
Yeah, Nigel, we're looking at eastbound 465 stop and go now Keystone Avenue past Allisonville Road, and also on the northeast side, still working on Allisonville Road at 75th. Single line traffic there because of broken water mains, and should be like that through evening rush. Hopefully they can get done a little bit sooner. East side southbound 465 slows Crawfordsville Road down to Washington. Traffic sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty, where with a limited time Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're basically made to slow down and relax. So when it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely, choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up next, an update on WNBA star Brittany Griner. She has pled guilty in Russia to possession, and what is next for her? Plus, Brian, I do want to get your take on Tom Hanks and Tim Allen and what they had to say about the Buzz Lightyear movie. That's coming up next. 89 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
If you thought Diamonds Direct's values were impressive, wait till you see what we're doing next. Diamonds Direct is celebrating your golden moments with a store-wide sale, July 15th through 17th, with an extra 20% savings on virtually all diamond fashion and designer jewelry, from rings and earrings to bands and bracelets and so much more. This is the perfect time to shop for yourself or the one you love during this 3-day event. Get ready, 20% extra savings on a multi-million-dollar selection of fine jewelry, July 15th through 17th at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Kevin Reinhardt says this family-owned business has a lot of pride in their work.
Danny started the business back in 1986 here in Danville, and we take a lot of pride in the town of Danville with a lot of repeat customers, people that I've known basically all my life. And it's just nice to continue to do the service that they trust for over 30 years.
You can trust Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
It was another hot summer day in Evansville, Indiana. My grandmother unfolded the newspaper she had just picked up from her front stoop. A cold shiver ran down her spine. Moms and dads across America knew this was coming, but it still took her breath away. It was June 6, 1944. The headline read, Allies Invade France. This is Brian Robert Singer with Singer Financial. That front page from the Evansville Courier hangs in my office hallway beside a picture of my Uncle Bob hugging Grandma's neck as he sits on her lap in his white dress Navy uniform before he's shipped overseas. Both are laughing and cherishing the moment. I never met my Uncle Bob, but every time I look at that picture, I think about the good times I had with my grandparents growing up in Evansville. And I remember my grandmother telling me more than once, one of these days you'll turn around and wonder where all the years went. Grandma was right. Time flies. But the good news is, you're the pilot. Time can't be saved or stored, and nobody has more than 24 hours each day. You're in charge of how you use the hours, days, and years you have in your lifetime. Time is a gift that can only be exchanged for something else. Sleep, exercise, travel, dinner and conversation with friends and loved ones, attending your favorite sporting events, day trips, and shopping excursions with your granddaughter. The next time you ask yourself, where did the time go? You now have an answer to your own question. I exchanged it for something else. Grandma knew, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. If you're an aspiring retiree looking for a financial planning partner who understands that the why is more important than the how, I invite you to invest some time with us discussing your next chapter in life. Call 317-852-9153 or go to singerfinancialgroup.com to schedule a visit.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
And we're back.
The Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
I'm going to go off the rails with Rob Kendall a little bit after 5:30. My name is Nigel. Brian Baker filling in for, what's his name? Jason Hammer. I momentarily forgot.
the Nigel and whoever show.
Yeah, like that complaint emailer said earlier. WNBA star Brittany Griner pleading guilty to possession earlier today. She denies she intentionally broke the law in Russia. It's a narcotics charge. Carries a sentence up to 10 years in prison. I know she's the airport in Russia. I mean, she plays basketball in Russia and the WNBA, like in the off season. But she was caught carrying some sort of THC vape cartridge through a Moscow airport. And, you know, she's one of these athletes that protested the national anthem and always talked about how oppressive and awful America is. And I relish I take no comfort, or I think what's happening to her is a miscarriage of justice in the worst way. But I'm wondering if now she might be rethinking her dislike for America trapped in a Russian jail over some vape cartridges. I always say it on this show, man. The word oppression and oppressed is thrown around a little too loosely in this country when compared to other places.
Yeah, I imagine she's doing quite a bit of soul searching while she's over there, Nige.
I don't relish in that fact. I mean, she does not deserve. I want her out of there. She's an American. And Joe Biden, I don't know how good this is going to make her feel, but Joe Biden spoke to her wife, Brittany Griner's wife, and assured her that he's working to get her released. How good would that make you feel?
He's putting Kamala Harris on the case. Don't worry.
Yeah, they were both on the phone a day after Brittany Griner's wife told CBS this morning that she hadn't heard anything from the president. Nothing was being done to help, and Griner's been in that Russian jail since February. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure if I take solace in the fact that Joe Biden's on the case.
That doesn't bring you a great deal of comfort. You don't go, things are going to be all right. Now, if Donald Trump were on the case, see, I'd know that help is on the way. I'm going to get rescued.
Would she even take Donald Trump's help, though?
Can you imagine? It's like, no, I don't want it.
It's for spite. I'm just going to sit here and rot because I hate Donald Trump. Do we have that Tom Hanks? Did I put that Tom Hanks audio in the folder there? Tom Hanks poked a little fun at the controversy surrounding the fact that Tim Allen didn't voice Buzz in the new Lightyear movie. Here is Tom on if it was weird going up against a Buzz Lightyear movie at the same time his Elvis movie was out.
I wanted to go head-to-head with Tim Allen, and they didn't let Tim Allen do it. I don't understand that. Just as long as people come back to the motion picture theater, I want to go back into the theater with a bunch of strangers and leave with something in common.
Could it have been anything to do with Tim Allen's conservative politics, Brian?
Well, I suppose, but would Tim Allen have wanted to be associated with the film? Because isn't Lightyear the movie that features the same-sex kiss that Disney had pulled out, and then they put it back in just to spite everybody because they were upset about the SCOTUS decision? So, I mean, Tim Allen is a pretty well-known conservative, and I think he probably would have faced a lot of criticism had he been a part of a film where you had something like that. So, he's probably better off for it. But, yeah, I'm sure it has played a role. I mean, look, you have conservatives in Hollywood who are out, and they're very public about it, and for the most part, they're either so powerful that people can't take them down because a lot of folks have, hitched their meal ticket to them, or it's something like, what's his name? The guy, James Woods, where he doesn't care if he ever works again, so he'll say whatever he likes.
So who else do you think is it? I mean, like how in the world did Mel Gibson fight his way back after those vicious, awful, racist voicemails that he left his girlfriend or his wife or whatever?
With that, I mean, I think the bigger problem was when he got pulled over and he was drunk and, they had made all of those comments. I think with
both of them.
What's her name? Yeah, when that came out, I mean, you listen to the audio, and of course, it's absolutely horrific. But then when she did this interview on Larry King, and if you kind of took an objective view, I think everyone sort of saw, certainly a lot of guys realized what the power dynamic might have been there in that relationship. But time goes on, man. I mean, you let enough time pass, and other people come along, and there's always going to be folks that are going to boycott a Mel Gibson film. But you know what? Listen. Until we get this Lethal Weapon 5 that he's going to be making with Danny Glover, I'm not writing off Mel Gibson, man.
Hold on. The Lethal Weapon 5's not real, is it? Are you just saying?
No, it's happening.
Because Danny Glover's an over-the-top liberal. I mean, crazy over the top.
Yeah, he is, but he and Mel are close. And Richard Donner, who directed all the other films, he's passed away, but he kind of passed the torch to Mel Gibson. So they're doing it, man. Now it's going to be on a streaming service. It's not going to be a big blockbuster, but I'll watch that, man.
How often would you say you insult yourself in a day? Like, like saying things to yourself, oh, you idiot, because you left your keys inside, or you left your wallet in the car or something. Like, how many times a day do you insult yourself?
Well, I'm a high achiever, Nigel, so I probably a couple of dozen before I even get out of bed.
There's a new poll. Before you get out of bed, there's a new poll that found the average is more than 3 times a day. That includes both insulting things you say and insulting thoughts. So you don't necessarily have to say it out loud for it to count. Women do it more than men. The average guy insults himself 3 times a day, or about 1,095 times a year. For women, it's 4 times a day, or about 1,460 times per year. That's kind of a depressing stat. I try not to do that. I try to love myself, Brian.
Well, good for you, Nigel. I mean, but I got to say, those are rookie numbers, man, because I'm well above that. There would be such a marked difference in my overall mental health if I could get it down to 3 or 4. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic.
What do you have? I mean, you have a successful career. You're in the movies. You are on the radio. You write for several different platforms and outlets. I mean, it's like you're a badass, man. You have no reason to insult yourself.
Well, it's amazing, Nigel, because despite having all of those things that I'm responsible for, I still find plenty of time to let myself know that I'm a big fat piece of crap.
All right, Rob Kendall's out in the hallway. He's pacing around vigorously. He's got some stuff on his mind, some shenanigans in Zionsville. We'll get his thoughts on that. Plus, what are the Republicans here in Indiana going to do when they call the special session talking about abortion? We'll get to all that coming up after the news. 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A break from the heat and some rain. 88 degrees and cloudy. The radar shows some rain on the way from the west. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Things cooled off a bit for most of the state today, plus some rain.
It'll be pretty sporadic and pretty